Welcome back to the President's Point of View. I am your host, Giovanni Hampton, and I am thrilled to bring you an exclusive interview with FAMU's President, Dr. Larry Robinson, and after that, an exclusive with the new head football coach, James Colzie III. Welcome, Dr. Robinson.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, on this episode, we are going to discuss the wonderful things that have happened at Florida A&M University. I mean, let's just start off with FAMU climbing the ranks, #1 HBCU, according to the U.S. News and World Report. Could you just speak to that and tell the viewers what that means for the university?
Well, it's tremendously important to us, not because of the ranking itself, but because of the underlying metrics which speak to student success outcomes primarily, right? We're really proud of the fact that our students are finishing, in a timely fashion. They're finding gainful employment and all those wonderful things, which is pretty much what we do as an institution. The fact that we are #1 public HBCU for the 5th consecutive year says a lot about the great work of our faculty, our administrative staff, and so many others that provide for our student success along the way. So I'm really, really proud of that. But we're also number 91 in terms of national public universities as well, according to U.S. News and World Report. So we marched into the top 100, that was one of our themes from the last couple of years or so ago. We got there perhaps a little bit quicker than others imagined, but we managed to get there because, once again, of the hard work and intentional efforts of so many in our campus environment.
And then a lot of talk, just Twitter, Facebook, they're wondering, what does it mean for a university to receive such rankings? And how is it categorized? How did FAMU fall in that number to be 91 and also #1 in the public HBCU sector?
Yeah, it wasn't by accident, right? We have developed a series of strategic plans. We're currently in the 2nd year of our most recent plan entitled Boldness Striking, and all of the metrics in there that we decided to focus on are also the ones that help us to make this progression in the rankings. So it means a lot, right? It tells the story about the great work of our teams here. The success of our students is not just about, the news part, it's about the real part of people, young people coming to FAMU, fulfilling their dreams as students and then going out into the world. So it tells a great story about our collective efforts, how we work together as a team at Florida A&M University.
Okay, and if we segue just a little bit from that to one of the most talked about celebrations, the Cricket Celebration Bowl. That was a tremendous victory for the university, for the students, faculty, and staff. What about for you, and are you looking forward to that again?
Yeah, it's interesting. You bring it back to this conversation, Coach James Colzie. Congratulations to him, and I want to give a huge thank you to VPAD Tiffany Dawn Sykes and those who were involved in the selection of Mr. Colzie as our next coach. I'm going to call him the third, right, if I could. I hope he doesn't get upset with me for that. But it's really a fascinating year for our football team. In fact, the last few years, we now have the longest home team winning streak in the nation. It's really incredible. We just don't lose at Ken Riley Field at Bragg Memorial Stadium.
Right.
And then, of course, going to Atlanta and winning the Celebration Bowl in such fine fashion, seeing all those Rattlers there, the national, if not international attention that got us at the institution was really, really a great day for us. So I give a huge shout out to former coach Willis Simmons and wishing him well in the next segment of his career. But the young men who made that happen on the field, the coaches who were there on the sidelines, and the fans in the stadium, including the Marching 100 that helped make that victory possible. I just have to really thank them, too, for what they did to really have a stellar day in the history of this institution. Not our first, championship, but it's been a long time, and it's been long overdue. So kudos to everybody who played a role in that, and, of course, being able to witness this one firsthand as president of Florida A&M University was a very special day for me.
And then just speaking of some of the people who played a role into choosing a new head football coach, we have even though it happened last year, the new COO, Dr. Donald Palm. Could you just speak to some leadership transitions that have happened within the university that will impact this year?
Yeah, so that's one critical one, the transition from our first chief operating officer, and Dr. Maurice Eddington, who's now the president of the University of the District of Columbia, something that, we're really excited about for him. But we were able to bring back, Dr. Donald Palm, who had been here with us in various capacities. He's a research scientist, former administrator here, and he served in the same role at his former place of employment. So to get Donald back here, and he's hit the ground running, so to speak. He chaired the search committee that resulted in the 3 or 4 finalists that, resulted in us picking Mr. Colzie. So I have to give Donald a huge shout out for what he's doing. That's a major transition, at FAMU that I think is going to reap benefits for years to come.
Okay. I know that the university has acquired new property, new facilities, specifically the 700-bed housing facility.
Mm-hmm.
Tell all of the Rattlers how that will help their incoming future Rattlers and the students that are currently here.
Yeah, so just 2 days ago, we had the closing with the U.S. Department of Education's HBCU capacity building program that allowed us to secure a $97 million loan to build another 700-bed residence hall. I'm trying not to say dormitory because I've been coached that it's residence halls these days. And you can only imagine the impact that's going to have on the lives of our students. If you come and visit, the towers, north and south, right? We have the same model that's going to be used for the next 700 bed. It will open in the fall of 2025. And so, it's going to be just outstanding, so I'm looking forward to that. And so we've laid the front print for FAMU to continue to succeed in this arena. Student housing for us is incredibly important for a number of reasons. Our students who stay on campus their first year, we have to see about them getting off in the latter years, but in the first year students, they do remarkably better as opposed to students who don't live on campus. So giving us that additional capacity, we'll be at something on the order of 3,300, beds, on campus, including, the 2 apartment complexes that we recently purchased adjacent to campus as well. So we're making a big strides in our housing strategic plan. We want to get to somewhere around 4,000 or so when it's all said and done, and so we have the plans for that moving forward. But before I get, too far ahead of myself, the 700-bed project is about to start. I'm really, really excited about that.
Awesome. And just a brief number or about how many students are at FAMU?
Just over 9,000 students, 9,400, 500 students or so, right? And so that's everybody, undergrad and graduate and professional, but we have done an assessment that somewhere around 4,000, 4,500 is the magic number according to Dr. Bill Hudson and his housing team, and a housing study that we had done by an outside consultant. That's the magic number for us, right? We've started a series of what are called living and learning communities in our residence halls where students, are grouped together by majors, and they get to do special events. Faculty and staff, guide them through activities that really promote their academic success. So living on campus isn't just about the convenience of being able to walk to class and all of those things, but in this new model, it's about students learning to work together and learn more about their majors and so forth. So it's really important for us to get this additional 700 beds so we can extend that program as well. Definitely.
And these students, they're just not in Florida. They're coming from all across the world. I met a student, she was from Brazil, and I was just, just very excited to meet her and learn about the culture. So what are the demographics of students that are at FAMU?
Yeah, I like to tell our students, during our recruitment events and orientation events, you can see the world from right here on campus, right? We have students currently from over 35 states and 70 countries. About 1 in 5, just a little bit over 1 in 5 students who attend this university are from somewhere other than Florida, right? And it's incredible the brand that FAMU has that, attracts students from around the world. For me, I just got back from, Southern California. Actually, I went to Northern California first at a meeting at Google. But in Los Angeles, there's one of the largest HBCU recruitment events in the country, right? It's sort of expanded now. It has been discovered that other institutions come as well, but 10,000 plus students come through in a single day, right, to learn about FAMU and other HBCUs and so forth. And our booth is always packed with students striving to get information about FAMU, applying and so forth. It's really magical to see that in person. And you've seen it once or twice yourself, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So FAMU's brand is very, very strong. Students want to come from all over the world to FAMU. But at the same time, in addition to that, we do have a world-class study abroad program. So we send our students around the world too, so they can see the world and the world can see them also.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great to know. With all the students that are coming to FAMU, the university as a whole, with alumni, everyone contributing to ensure that students are financially prepared and able to take on any educational needs that they have at FAMU. Could you speak to just the record fundraising $25 million?
Yeah. So last year was another record year, $25.7 million raised. Wow. The bulk of that will go to direct student support, right? It's from corporate entities, it's from foundations, it's from alumni, it's from our staff, and in some cases our students themselves are contributing to the institution, something we really encourage as well. And so that's going to help a lot, but it's never enough. So those of you who are out there in the world, please continue to give to Florida A&M University. I think right now, this year my board, for me, has set a goal of $20 million, and we're closing in on that, right? And we still have a few major events to go, FAMU Day of Giving and so forth. However, I just want everybody who has given to know that whether you gave $5 million or $5, we appreciate every penny, and we're going to spend it in a way that you expect us to do so. But we don't want to leave without people realizing that although we have some of the best and brightest students in the world, in America, in the state of Florida, we also have the highest percentage of Pell Grant recipients in the state university system of Florida. Over 50% of our students are Pell Grant recipients, and even once they get the maximum that they get there, they still have unmet financial needs. So I want to give a huge shout out to alumni who helped meet that need through a very special program that they conceived a few years ago called Save Our Students, right? That's making a difference. But we need people to give more because the demand to get to FAMU is really, really high. Now we're managing that, right? And in the sense that we don't expect our enrollment to grow exponentially. We have some incremental growth that we are anticipating as we move forward, right? But at the same time, we have to be mindful of what it takes for those students to succeed financially in their own space, but then the services that we have to provide them on top of that to be successful as well. So we're very, very strategic about our enrollment growth, and we do have a very, very well-conceived plan for that. But I just want everybody who's given to know that what they've done, what they've given is making a difference. The academic profile of our students is also at an all-time high. Last year we had over 22,000 students to apply to Florida A&M University. We are running slightly ahead of that this year. That was a record last year. We'll probably end up, we're already over 20,000. Right, and students are still applying, and we'll turn that off sometime in May. So it looks like we will exceed that number. But when all of the dust settles, we'll probably enroll something between 1,700 students or so. So if you go and read the literature about FAMU's admission policy, it would say that we are selective. It's not that we're just trying to keep anyone out. It's just that some very, very smart kids are applying to this institution.
Right.
The average high school GPA for students who have been admitted for the fall of 2024 is 4.02. But these some bright young men and women who can go anywhere. We're really pleased that they're making FAMU, their top choice as well.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. And for those who are listening, some may not understand or know about Pell Grants and what is a Pell Grant recipient. Could you speak to that just a little bit about what that is?
So Pell Grant is a national U.S. Department of Education program that's designed to provide financial aid to students on a need-based, basis, right? It's based upon your family income, right? And that income determines the amount of money that students will receive. It's universal. It's not just for FAMU. It's not just for HBCUs. It's the biggest program of its type, in the country. And it just so happens that based upon where our students' household incomes is reported through the IRS, that over 50% of our students are eligible for that funding, right? And so they still, have, some of the greatest academic achievements and profiles. It's just that, mom and dad and grandma and auntie, when they put their collective resources together, it's not always enough, right? And so that's why we need people to continue to give, right, to help support these students along.
Florida A&M University also secured a record $96.4 million in research awards. Dr. Robinson is going to share how that is going to support the university as well.
Yeah, it's really, really important to recognize first and foremost our faculty for really breaking another record there. So, these are competitive research funds. They're competing against institutions of all sizes and all types, doing meaningful research on top of that. But our research projects carry another piece to them that I'm really, really pleased about, and it is, we don't do research for just the sake of doing research. We're really solving relevant problems. Some people call it translational research. But also, we carry our students with us, right? We just established an undergraduate research program. Many of them students are funded through that by grants garnered by faculty members. But in particular, at the graduate level, students are funded through those research contracts and grants. Another major goal that we have at this institution is to move from a Carnegie Research 2 status to the highest status that they have, and that's a Carnegie Research 1 status. There are only 11 HBCUs that are Research 2s. Nobody's at Research 1 yet. We are working to get there. We have a consortium of institutions to do that, working to make that happen. But in the meantime, these kinds of funds help us along the way because the Carnegie Foundation just changed the rules a bit. And one of the major rules is, the amount of money, research funds that you expend in a given year, right? Which we have succeeded, in the last few years, but also they've increased the number of PhDs that you have to offer as well. And so these funds help us to continue to produce outstanding PhD graduates also. And
how many PhD programs?
So it's interesting at FAMU, we have an array of PhD programs, and it's interesting that only one of those is non-STEM, right? So we have educational leadership, a very productive program. We have a PhD in environmental sciences, which I know a little bit about, right? Because I helped to establish that. An array of PhD programs in engineering, PhD in physics, doctorate of public health, 4 tracks, PhD programs in pharmacy, right? So we have an array of PhD programs, but we're not done yet. We think we just added a material science PhD program in engineering in the last year or so, so we have a lot, right? But we want to do a little bit more. We think biology might be an area we want to focus on in the future, data science and so forth.
And so would you say that 2023 was a historic year for the university?
Well, every year at FAMU is historic, right? Because we made it, right? And we continue to do wonderful things. But I can't say that 2023 was more historic than 2022 or than 2024 is going to be, right? It's just that we have to keep working, right? I've seen some incredible things during my 27 years here at Florida A&M University. That's why we came up with this slogan, you know, that great things happen at FAMU every day, right? Now, there's a lot of highlights that we can talk about in 2023, but you can go back to 1903 and find some great things that happened at FAMU too. So we can't take all the credit in one year because it took all of the 136 years and all of the things that happened for us to get to where we are today. So I don't want to discredit any of that, right, at all.
And what does the President's State of the University address look like? Like, what are some of those goals and maybe encouraging sayings that you're going to have in your speech that's to come later on?
Well, you know, first and foremost, you know, I keep emphasizing to people, we didn't get to where we are in these last few years haphazardly, right? We do have a strategic plan. It's called Bold is Striking, right? My board of trustees, they set a set of goals for me each and every year. There's a performance funding model set by the Board of Governors that has 10 metrics in it, really 11. And if you really want to know what I'm going to be doing and talking about, you know, this year is going to be some subset of all of those things combined. So
good.
I will say to them, however, that in the end, the university is strong. You know, we are doing extremely well, but we can't rest on our laurels. We have to keep pushing and clawing to keep this journey going. We owe that to every student who's here and everyone who's come this way over this 136-year period.
The university is strong and doing extremely well. That is the overall message and theme of this conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Larry Robinson, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yes, next we will have the interview that many of you may have been looking forward to. It is of James Colzie III, the 19th head football coach of Florida A&M University.
From the steps of Lee Hall to the Coleman Library, with the eternal flame at its center, FAMU is encouraging everyone associated with the university to have a brick on the walkway. Students who cross its path see the names of those who have paved the way for their educational experience. Proceeds from the Florida A&M University 21st Century Brick Walkway will support student scholarships as well as other university initiatives. Buy your brick today.
Rattler Nation, you asked and we delivered. Everyone, welcome the 19th head football coach at FAMU, Mr. James Colzie III. He is joining us here today on the President's Point of View. Welcome.
I'm glad you guys had me.
Yes, we are so excited to have the coach here, and we want to know just a little bit about who you are and just how are you back at FAMU. You started off at FSU, a student athlete, two-time student athlete, and now you're the head football coach at FAMU.
Well, that's a big time frame from 1993 to now 2024. But you know, obviously started playing football at Florida State during the 1993 to 97 year. Won a national championship, won a few ACC championships. Then spent some time with the Buccaneers. Spent some time in minor league baseball. But I knew when I was done playing that I always wanted to be a coach. So got my first opportunity in 1999 to be the defensive back coach at Florida International in Miami, Florida. Spent 5 years there. After that, came back to Florida State as a defensive grad assistant, and basically is the life of a coach after that, right? I spent some time in Valdosta, Georgia, Carrollton, Georgia, Magnolia, Arkansas. Spent some time in Canada, back to Coffeyville, Kansas, then spent about 7 years in Canada, and then made my way back to Tallahassee in July of 2022 when Coach Simmons and Ryan Smith asked me to be a part of the defensive staff.
So you've been all over.
Yes.
Traveling and what would you say from Florida International University and now as the head football coach, what were those, I mean, what is the transition like as, I guess just that journey? Well,
I mean, when you have success at different places, you know, it's going to always start with the players, right? The players, I've had some really, really good players that have been around. I've been around some really, really good coaches, some great head coaches that have kind of put me in this position. You know, this is my second opportunity as a head coach. You know, and some people don't even get the first chance, right? So, but it's been a blessing to be around the people that have molded me and that have guided me and given me the proper advice for this type of moment.
And then how did those experiences shape your love just for the game overall?
Well, you know, I come from an athletic family, excuse me. I played all 3 sports in high school. You know, believe it or not, my hero, you know, plus after my dad was my uncle, who's a big-time, you know, college football player, and he was a first-round draft pick for the Oakland Raiders. So since a young kid, 2 or 3 years old, and I've always had the love of football. Now, you know, now as a coach, you know, just watching our guys succeed on and off the field, that's the driving force for me. You know, my job as a head football coach here at FAMU is to provide the resources for our guys to be successful. You know, and I'm taking that as a motivation. I'm taking that as pride for our guys to understand how important it is for them, for them to be successful.
And then, if you all watched the press conference when the announcement was made that he would be the new head coach, Coach, you mentioned that you've had a long journey, but you are hoping that at FAMU this can be a place where you can stay and plant your feet for a while.
Well, you know, I mean, again, the journey of a football coach is to move around, right? But you know, you stop moving around when you find the job that you feel you can have the most success at and have the longest tenure. And obviously, this is a place where, you know, you can have kids grow, right? You can have your kids grow. As a man, I can continue to get older and be here, but I got to have success, right? You got to make sure you're winning. You know, that's also the job of a coach, right? You got to make sure you're winning, making sure that you're putting out a great product, making sure you're providing these young men the opportunity to be successful. So, you know, I see this opportunity as that, hoping to be here a long time, because if I am, that means I'm having the success needed to be here for a long time.
So what does this new chapter of your coaching career look like?
Well, it looks like I'm blessed with the opportunity to be coaching the national championship team. You know, most of the time when you come in as a new coach, it's because, you know, something was going on, you know, the team wasn't good enough, but you know, Coach Simmons provided the foundation of what's needed to be here, to have success here. You know, we got some really, really good players that are coming back. So, you know, again, a blessing to be the new head football coach of a team that just finished 12-1 and reached the pinnacle of HBCU football. So, you know, it's a blessing. You know, we're not done yet. You know, we still have a lot of things that we're still trying to accomplish for this year. And we obviously know that we're going to get the best. You know, when we play these other teams, we're going to get their best. So we have to make sure that we are at our best.
Right. From 2022, and now you're taking some of that, what you've learned as a foundation for FAMU's football team into 2024. What would you say some of those attributes are?
Well, when Coach Simmons hired me at first, you know, I was a cornerbacks coach and the defensive pass game coordinator. So it was a little bit of an adjustment for me after being a head coach for 7 years, right? So, you know, when it first started, it was just kind of making sure that I fit in with the staff, fit into what Coach Simmons wanted. And making sure I was just coaching my specific guys. Well, then, you know, you come into the 2023 season, Coach Simmons was impressed with how I was handling my guys, so then he named me the assistant head coach, right? So, you know, the biggest thing I would say that Coach Simmons taught me was to just make sure you take care of the small details, not just with the players on your team, but I was also in charge of other things that Coach Simmons had me, not just football related, but off-campus things, right? So, you know, take care of your guys, take care of the details. You know, now I'm dealing with, you know, 95 to 100 guys. So nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. You know, I want to ensure success, take care of the things that my guys need and my team needs from me. And you know, if I can continue to do that, you know, we should be in good shape.
And the momentum is high. I mean, everyone's super excited about this year. How do you plan on maintaining Cricket Celebration Bowl Championship, SWAC champs, and bringing it into this new season of coaching?
You know, we had our conversation this morning. We talked about how, you know, it's great that we did those things in the past, right? But, you know, we can't rest on that. You know, we have to set new goals. We have to set new expectations. We have a new football team, right? There's a lot of guys that were on that football team last year that aren't going to be on this team this year. So, you know, guys are going to now, we're trying to identify leaders who are going to be our new leaders. You know, guys are pushing themselves, they're pushing each other, you know, so, you know, we got to make sure that we don't rest on what we did last year, because all the teams that are going to be coming for us this year, we got to make sure that we're ready to go at a maximum level.
And then, this isn't just a FAMU issue, but students at all universities face personal at-home issues. They deal with multiple things, but when it comes to athletes, you're worrying about school, you're worrying about parents. How are you keeping these football players motivated throughout the year, and so that, by the time football season comes, they're ready, they're hitting the ground running, GPA is good? What is that going to look like?
Well, I think it's, we're just trying to make sure our guys find a proper balance, right? So, our guys know we go early in the morning. So there's going to be football early in the morning, whether it's practice, whether it's in the weight room, whether it's on the field. Then after that, they got their classwork that they got to make sure that they take care of. So, and then after that, then you got study hall and you have homework. So for us, we try to make sure we provide the proper structure for them. We know that they have to be this football player at some point of the day, this academic student at some point of the day, and then obviously, making sure they take care of their social life in the evening. So we provide the structure for them. We let them know what we need from them at certain times and where to be. So, again, there's almost 15 to 20,000 students here, right? And there's only 110 players. There's only 110 football players. So I think for us, our guys understand that, they're a rare commodity, but we have to make sure that we give them the proper balance to be successful in all facets of their life.
That's good. And of course, you're not just a coach. Just talk about James Colzie. Who are you?
Well, I'm the son of Ernestine and James Colzie Jr. I have two younger sisters, Chandra and Chandra Colzie, who are both administrators down in South Florida. My parents were administrators throughout my life, so education has always been important to me and to my family. I'm a 24-year, this is my 24th season of coaching college football.
Wow.
I don't know anything else to do. I wouldn't know what to do if I wasn't able to coach college football. But I love where I am. I love this city. I love this university. I love the opportunity and being trusted by the administrators and the president of our university giving me this opportunity. I'm not taking this lightly. Obviously I'm extremely excited for what's happening, for what's going to happen for the future of this university. And again, I'm just happy to be a part of it, just be a small part of it.
Awesome. Well, I can tell you that the buzz is high. You have a lot of supporters. The president just spoke very highly of you. So the university is rooting for you, and we are grounded in what you are bringing to the university. So we just thank you so much for joining us on this show, The President's Point of View, and we are looking forward to the future.
We are as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.